Sohail, sorry if I'm saying it wrong, Ahmed 98.
Yeah.
He asked, how did you get started in real estate?
Okay, so I left university. I was at university studying economics and finance, and I left after about a year. It just wasn't working out for me. Like, it wasn't my thing. I was there. I was doing lots of different little ventures, business ventures, but I wasn't really studying. So I think in the whole year I went to like 1 or 2 lectures. That was it, literally. And then at the end of the year, when it came to like exam time, and I bumped into this guy who I met on the first day of uni, and he's like, "Hey Z, what's happening?" And this guy was on my course. That's why I met him, right, on the first day. I'm like, "Hey," he's like, "Hey Z, what's happening?" I'm like, "Yeah, all good, man." I was like, he was in a rush. I was like, "Bro, where are you off to? Just come chill." He's like, "We've got an exam right now." I was like, "Huh? Really? Shit." I was like, "Okay." He's like, "Are you coming?" I was like, "I wasn't, but yeah, I'll come." So anyway, I was like, "Shit, I should go," because it's just like, it's my exam happening, So anyways, I went along to that exam, and that was the only exam I sat, and I passed it. So anyways, after that first year, I sort of knew that, this isn't happening, and I'm just wasting my time. I knew it wasn't really working. So my uncle, he was into property. So initially, when I came straight out of university, I started working with him, and I did about 5-6 months with him. But with family, it often can be difficult, because especially when it's like your dad or your uncle or someone, they look at you as a child, right? Yeah. And sort of, I didn't feel like I was being given the independence that I needed to operate. And secondly, I was never made for that. I was always made to be like a lone ranger. I was always made to go out and do something crazy on my own. I was never made to be in that secure environment with friends and family around and put in a box. I've always wanted to do things my way. I've always been a massive rebel. I've always just wanted to do things differently in the way I want to do them. And if there's one thing that I hate the most in life, is being constrained by anything, by anyone. I'd like to be free to do what I want, when I want, how I want. Nutshell, that didn't work out, and about 5-6 months later, no hard feelings whatsoever, I left and I moved on. And the Dubai property market was booming at the time, and I got a job with Damat Properties. If you see the award in the background over there, at the time the Dubai property market was booming, and I got a job in sales. They had offices all over the UK, and this was based in their Birmingham office, right? And I worked with them for a short period of time, and then I jumped over and I moved out to Dubai, because I realized I'm sat here in the UK trying to sell this Dubai property, but really it's not really working out. The real action's over there. So I packed my bags and I was gone. So within 1 year of university, not even 1 year, within 10 months of university, I'd left university, started with my uncle, gone to Damak, moved to Dubai.
How old were you?
20.
20?
Yeah.
And 20. You moved to Dubai?
And I'd moved to Dubai, yeah. And literally when I moved to Dubai, it was like, I had enough money for my flight, and I just turned up.
You didn't even have a place organized?
No, a friend of mine, I spoke to him and he's like, "Yeah, cool, you can come stay at mine." And that's all I had. Yeah. And I had some commissions that were supposed to come through from sales that I'd done, that were going to come over the next week, 2 weeks, month or so. Right. And that was it. And that's how I started.
So from there, that Dubai office, you were a salesperson, and then...
Yeah, so I went to Dubai, I was a salesperson, and then it took an interesting turn, because the Dubai property market crashed. So I became this amazing mega salesperson, I was making loads of money, and then the Dubai property market crashed.
In this Gulf City state where property prices went up as high and as fast as the buildings, reality has rudely and suddenly intruded.
So then all of a sudden, I'm sitting there like, basically if I was making like £10,000 a month, I was spending like £11,000 a month, right? So, and having a great time, all the best restaurants. I was partying with Floyd Mayweather.
Really?
Yeah, but big parties, Floyd Mayweather. So I was with Prince Nassim, who became a good friend of mine, boxer, yeah? So Prince Nassim, he's in Dubai and he's chilling with us every single night. Now, one day he calls us and he's like, basically, he just bumped into Floyd Mayweather. I was like, okay. He's like, he's gonna come out with us tonight. I was like, oh, because I'm a big boxing fan, right? Yeah. All my friends in Dubai, they're not really, but I was. So we've gone out to this lounge, and like 12 at night, Naz turns up with Floyd. Yeah? So it's me, Naz, Floyd, one of my good friends, well, a couple of my good friends from back then, and we're all just chilling, and we're there till like 3-4 a.m. and we ended up chilling with him like every day for the 3-4 days he was there. just on the couch, just like randomly just chilling every single day. And he's such a down-to-earth, humble guy. I remember we were at this lounge and a lot of my friends and that, they were drinking, and he wasn't drinking. And I said, Floyd, why aren't you drinking? He's like, I'm an athlete, man. I've never drank in my life.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, really? That's really interesting. Like, my body's my temple, you know? That's my craft.
Yeah.
So he's never touched alcohol in his life because he said that's what my craft is all about.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting. Fast forward again for a second, and now you look at those awards over there, DMAC. Now one of my companies won investments with a top broker for DMAC in the world.
Really?
Internationally, yeah. So that same company where I started my career from as a 20-year-old, fast forward 10 years, and now with a top international broker for that company.
There you go, that's pretty
It's
sick.
crazy how life comes round full like 360. A lot of things that happen in your life, at the time they're happening, you don't realize what they're for, right? And you're going through the experiences, you're like, this is mundane, boring shit. You know? Why am I doing this? Why am I going through this? But it's all got this bigger purpose in the big vision.
Yeah.
That big vision, that amazing you, the masterpiece, all these little things are happening, they're pieces of that masterpiece.
And when you were there, did you see yourself? Did you envision that, or it just you took it day by day and it just ended
Honestly,
up like
I could sit here and bullshit everyone and be like, I planned every minute out and I knew exactly where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
You could have asked me at 10 years old and I told you I was born to do this? Nah. When I left university, I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I had no idea what I wanted to do. My uncle was into property and he said, come join me, right? After that, I knew I was good at sales, so I'd done some part-time jobs while at university. So I was like, okay, well, my uncle's taught me 6 months of property. I think I'm okay at sales, right? So let's go do property sales, and Dubai sounds good as well. You know? So there's no formula to it.
Yeah.
Even now there's no formula.
Yeah.
What I believe in is gut instinct. You get this something inside you, it tells you something. And it's the first instinct you get. When you think about something, when you see something, you get this first instinct. I believe in that first instinct. That first instinct is what I go off. When I see a new opportunity, the first thing that comes to my mind, that's what I believe in most. That doesn't mean that I see it and I'm like, yep, it's amazing, done. It means I see it, I like it, that first instinct is good, I do my research, I do all my due diligence on the new opportunity, whatever it is, but then I always refer back to that first instinct. The first instinct wasn't right, 9 times out of 10, I'll scrap it. So, then all of a sudden I meet Floyd Mayweather and I end up spending the next 3 months working on a deal to bring Floyd Mayweather to the Middle East to do the first major boxing fight in the Middle East. I was dealing with his manager, who's now become super famous, who no one knew at the time, called Al Heyman. Al Heyman's become the biggest guy in boxing. Me and Al used to talk like 2-3 times a day for hours on the phone, discussing all the details about this big boxing fight we're going to have in the Middle East. I went out and secured funding as well from a sheikh in Abu Dhabi, from a royal family member. Secured the funding as well, and so I had this whole business plan. I've still got the business plan, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, I've still got my computer here. I had this whole business plan, put it all together. Floyd's ready. Al Heyman's on the phone to me every day. And this is me sort of coming out of property and doing something else. And got the funding secured from the sheikh, all done and dusted. Then last minute fell through.
Really?
You know what? I'm not going to disclose any details of why it happened. But what I will say is that the fact that I was inexperienced at that industry played a role in it. Right? Because the expectations that Floyd's side had and the expectations which my side had were two different things. Right? And maybe it was my job, if I was more experienced at that time at like 22 years old, probably 22 years old, to probably manage the expectations better, as in maybe in terms of bringing the funders' expectations down a little bit and making the terms right with Floyd's side and bringing them up a little bit, that deal could have worked out. But unfortunately, I think due to my experience at the time, I'm taking the blame on me, but I really shouldn't. But you always should do that. You know, you should always do that. Always take the blame on yourself. So in that situation, instead of blaming Floyd's side or blaming the Sheikh side, well, the Sheikh side had no fault whatsoever. But instead of blaming Floyd's side, I say maybe I should have managed people's expectations better. Maybe I should have lowered the expectations of the Sheikh. Maybe I should up the expectations of Floyd's side in terms of what they were supposed to deliver. Maybe I should have made them contribute more to the equation. Yeah, and that's the way I assess it. We've had all these things happening, right? And this Floyd thing's happened. I'm working on this Floyd thing. The Floyd thing didn't work out, and now I'm sat there with nothing to do. Real estate is done. Dubai market, the world markets are still recovering.
When was it? 2000?
We're talking about 2008-9.
Okay.
Right? Global markets are still recovering. So my parents, they live in Karachi in Pakistan. So I ended up moving back there, hand to mouth. Spent all my money, nothing to save for myself. 23, 24 years old, right? Dropped out of university. They paid my fees and whatever else. I'm just sat there, and I was sat there working on all sorts of different deals, right? Bit of this, bit of that, bit of this, bit of that. And my father, he watched me for about maybe 4 months of doing all this, and then basically one day came to me and said, right, okay, Zeeshaan, here's a one-way ticket to London, right? And here's £500, and do not come back to this house ever again until you're stood on your own 2 feet. Forget that you've got a family. God's honest truth. This is the words he said to me.
Yeah.
Forget that you've got a family. Forget that you've got a home, because you're not welcome over here until you're standing on your own 2 feet. This was a Friday. My ticket was booked for the Saturday.
Damn.
Yeah, so I was going the next day. So I went on Gumtree, and this is now 9 years ago, right? So I went on 8 years ago, 9 years ago, something like that. Anyways, I went on Gumtree, and I found a place in Plasto. It was a studio at the back of someone's house. They built a little studio, and this studio was so small that when I stretched my arms out, I could touch each side of the apartment, right, on my studio. But so this guy, he had it on for £450 a month. The guy's name was Shipon. Still remember, such a nice guy, because I fixed the deal with him. I said, right, I'll take this place. But when I turned up to him, I said, look, I've got some news for you, which is that your rent is £450 and I've only got £450, so I don't have the 2 months deposit. I can just give you £450 and move in. And he let me do it with a smile on his face, and I still remember that, because I was like, this is awkward now, because I've only got the 500 and this guy's rent is £450. If he just tells me to fuck off,
Yeah.
where am I going to go? And the guy was cool with it. So I gave him that £450, and I had £50 left, and this was like Saturday evening or something. Sunday morning I woke up, I went and printed out like 100 copies of my CV or something silly like that, and went out job hunting the next morning.